Good afternoon, Paul. Yes, we are.
And I were chatting a little bit before we came on air, so to speak,
Yeah.
about a trial that I have Monday.
Yep.
On this one, I'm the defendant on a case
Yep.
which
Wait. Before you jump in,
I'm not
people
jumping
may
in.
not, they might be discovering us for the first time, so tell them who you are. Our
This is
intro.
Paul Reed. We are here at Live Feed Reads. This is
Yeah.
Jason Crawford, the editor
Howdy.
to my Johnny Carson.
Yes.
We do this show on Fridays, 1 o'clock.
1
Most
p.m.
people kind of watch it later, but that's okay.
Yep.
We're here to pretty much give not legal advice, but just talk a little bit about the law and things of that nature.
Right.
So that's kind of what we do. And so thanks for watching or tuning
Thanks for
in
tuning
or
in.
looking at
Yeah.
us later on
Or if you watched it on
Spotify
YouTube or
or
Rumble or whatever you
yeah,
caught
there you
it on.
go. But
Yeah.
anyway, I have a trial starting Monday, and I
Fascinating.
can't talk about it just the way the rules are. But I will tell you, it's a kind of a road rage issue.
Mm.
And I will say this, I can say this. We'll see whether we win or lose, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you all about it. Your people aren't going to believe this, but I'll tell you
Yeah.
all about it next Friday. So you might want to tune
When
in
it's over
live
with.
because you're not going to believe it. But what
Yeah.
I think, and I'll tell you why I think this, and we'll go through it. But I think the plaintiff, Jason, is on a train track trestle that crosses like a ravine.
Yeah.
I think he's on the trestle heading this direction with noise
T-bone.
canceling
Yeah.
headphones on, and I'm
Okay.
a train coming behind him, and he don't know it.
He doesn't see something coming.
He don't know it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm going to
Okay.
leave it alone. But I
Okay.
encourage you to honestly tune in next Friday because it's
Yeah.
just you're not going to believe it. You're just
Okay.
not. Because I told
Yeah.
you a little bit, but
Yeah.
we got put on live here, so you didn't hear the rest. So I'll
Right.
save some for you, and then we can talk about what happened to trial.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So here,
fascinating
read
so
read.
far.
We try cases, and this one's going to be Monday.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
I was looking at scouring the internet, and I do like the Supreme Court, United States. I like their cases, and I saw one that kind of I see both sides to the argument, so I'm not
Okay.
going to pick a side. And I mean, and it doesn't matter.
But they make for good.
So because well, here's the thing: there's the American with Disabilities Act, right?
Yeah.
It's been around for 30 years. That's
Yep.
fine, and I think it certainly serves its purpose, and I'm not here to say otherwise.
Yep.
What I didn't realize is that there are these people called testers.
Okay. Like secret shoppers, but for ADA compliance.
Yeah, testers. And so what this
Okay.
one individual did or does is she goes, oh, let me back up. Evidently, if you have a hotel, you on your website, you have to have a section that just basically says that you're ADA in compliance and what things you provide to individuals.
Okay.
All right, and I think that's fine. But what I also
Sure.
think, as in this case, this was a small mom and pop hotel that just evidently didn't realize. It appears just from reading it. I haven't
Hmm.
read the whole brief. It just appears they didn't realize that their website has to have all of these enumerated things in place
Yeah.
to comply with the act. Okay, so they didn't. Well, this
Interesting.
tester evidently goes to hotel websites, and if you're not in compliance, evidently, rather than contacting the hotel and say, "Look, you're in violation of the ADA," and maybe you want to look it up and say you need to do A, B, and C. She has this other lawyer, and her seem to be kind of in coerce. They just sue them immediately.
Okay.
And
Is that
evidently, upon review, she has sued over 600 of these ADA non-compliant hotels, motels, and so forth. And said,
600?
"Oh yeah, it's this. There are people that do these things with other laws. So just understand, if you don't do this, there are people that got you, and then they sue you, and then you basically don't have a choice. You have to settle with them."
So I think that like compliance and accountability is important,
Right.
but this sounds unethical almost. Like,
It is what it is, and that's why we're
yeah.
talking about it because I
Okay.
agree you should be in compliance with the American with Disabilities Act. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're not, I think you should at least be given a warning.
Right, a notification and X amount of time to fix it, and
these people, just so you'll know, they utilize this and the lawyer to make money for people who are not in compliant. And rather than saying, look, you're not in compliant, if you don't, come into compliance, we're going to sue you. To me, that would be a better way to handle it. But that's just me.
Right.
There are two sides to every story. The American Civil Liberties Union basically takes the position, well, you shouldn't need a warning. You shouldn't get a warning. You should know what you need to do.
Yeah, imagine construction, though, right? Not just a website. Everybody thinks that, changing this and that on the website is quick and easy.
This is the website. Let's just stay focused. Right, your website, if you're a hotel, has to be in compliant with the ADA, and you have to, list the things.
There's a lot of things
you do. Well, I get it. Yeah. So anyway, the point is that she sued them. Okay. Well, the issue, but even though arguably she's from Florida, you go figure. Arguably, she had no intention of these 600 hotels during depositions and things. She really had no intentions of ever visiting or going to the hotel she sued.
Interesting.
So the question was then, do you have standing to sue these hotels who are not compliant?
Simply for compliance.
Well, when you have no intention,
you have no damages to recover. Nothing happened to you. Like there's nothing personal that was missing from you, or like, I went there and they didn't have whatever.
That's it. It's called standing. The legal term is
standing.
You have standing. Were you somehow harmed?
Impacted. Right. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the district court, remember in the federal system, there's the district court, which is like the trial court.
Yeah.
There's the Court of Appeals.
Okay.
And then there's the Supreme Court. Not unlike Florida. Florida has our trial court, our courts of appeal, and our Supreme Court. Well, the trial court said, Miss, her name's Loeffler. I don't care. It's public. Miss Loeffler, you don't have standing because you never intended to go to this hotel. Therefore, you personally have not suffered any harm.
Okay.
And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but that was the gist of it.
But that was the gist. Okay.
Right. The first district court of appeal said no, that she does have standing because, the American Disabilities Act says what it says, and these are the testers are the people that kind of hold your foot to the fire, and therefore they serve a purpose.
Is there a credentialing for that?
Huh?
Is there other credentials for that to be a tester?
You go to the website and you see that they don't have a disabilities section, and you can sue them. That's your credential.
So nothing qualifies you to be a tester. You could just.
She's a self-described tester. Exactly.
Got you.
Okay. All right. So, there's a plot twist.
Yeah.
Evidently, during all of this, her lawyer got sanctioned by the Maryland bar for inappropriate behavior, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Well, so now, and there's a different court of appeal. So now you got the first district court saying, yes, you have standing, you can bring your case.
Okay.
Another one saying, I believe, no, you don't.
Okay. And then the lawyer gets sanctioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what this lady does, she says, well, the Supreme Court of the United States is taking this up. I don't want to lose my ability to sue people, so I'm going to dismiss my case. My lawyer's got problems that I use in these cases. The Supreme Court is conservative. I'm not sure which way they're going to go, so I'm going to dismiss it. And therefore, I can continue to file these suits and make some money.
With someone else. Okay.
Well, whatever.
Because, if he's sanctioned, does she have to represent self at that point?
No, or hire another lawyer.
Okay.
The lawyer. And again, I'm just saying during the interim of all this, he was sanctioned. I don't know what happened with it. But here's the deal. So she drops it and says, look, this could go bad for me, and then I would lose my ability to make money on suing these hotels and motels. So so now but the Supreme Court has agreed to look at it. So now the argument is twofold. We have, does she have standing? And of course, if she doesn't, then no tester in the United States of America can sue a hotel or motel again unless you can prove you were harmed. You went there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No
or
standing.
you plan on going there or something to that effect. Okay. Well, certainly if you're a tester and this is what you do, you don't want that ruling to come out.
Correct.
You like the ruling from the first district that says you do have standing and you can sue them.
Right.
So I dismiss my case. Does that have an effect on whether the Supreme Court now can rule one way or the other because there's no longer a case?
I don't know what happens to that. I'm ignorant on what happens to the case.
That question, that's fine. There's a term for that in the law. It's called mootness. M-O-O-T-N-E-S-S. It's moot.
Moot.
Because there is no more case.
Okay.
There's nothing for us to decide.
But the previous up to this point, does that stay
the issue is still
logged?
there. The issue is still there. Do these people, these testers, have standing? That's still there.
The question still remains.
Right. Well, some of the judges, it appears, and I'm only reading, some of the judges say, look, the case is moot. We don't have to decide it now. Let's wait for the next case to come up.
Okay.
A real case. They call it a case in controversy.
And not theoretical, whatever.
Right.
Actually judging.
The other said, look, this case may come up again because, it is an ongoing issue, evidently, in the United States where these testers are suing motels and hotels for the ADA who have no harm, and no damages, so to speak. So we should, and they've spent a lot of money to get here. I mean, you spend a lot of money in time and legal fees and so forth to go from the district court to the appellate court to the Supreme Court. So we should go ahead and settle it once and for all.
Okay.
We don't know those, and the arguments were yesterday on whether or not whether or not the tester has standing.
Okay.
Or will the court just say, look, we don't have to decide this right now because it's moot. There is no more case.
Right. There's not another. Yeah. Interesting.
Some of them are saying we should hear it. Some of them are saying, no, we don't. And others might.
What do you think is going to be the outplay? Like hypothetically, or just guess.
Well, the problem is, I don't know much about. Of course, this court is 6-3 conservative, right?
Okay. Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't know
the impact.
The American with Disabilities. That's a pretty serious issue.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want people with disabilities not being able to go into shows, into restaurants. I don't think
that anything with the ADA in and of itself or the requirements is on trial though, or in question. It's simply
I agree.
Whether the auditors
I believe it is do you who really are not harmed by someone not being in compliance with the ADA. Now again, the other side to that, Jason, I'm telling you, the other side is the American with Civil Liberties Union and other groups saying, well, again, these testers are important.
God's work.
The government.
Yeah.
Yes. What'd you say?
Yeah. They're doing God's work.
Yeah,
keeping
so to
people
speak.
honest.
I mean, not in the sense of, but they're doing the government's work by making sure that businesses are in compliance with the law.
Yeah.
I see that side too.
I do.
But
go ahead.
I don't see the side for money.
Right. Okay. So that's what I was going to say. I'm like,
I see the side where you should get a warning, right?
Yeah.
There should be like, okay, if it's brought to your attention by the government or an individual, and you don't, when
there should be a process.
I mean a tester.
A notification process. Yeah. There should be.
Because remember, we're talking about their website. We're not talking about someone who has a disability showing up to the hotel and they don't have a walkway. They don't have showers.
There's no ramp. And I couldn't get my wheelchair there. We're not talking about that.
You know what I'm saying? There's no elevator. There's just stairs.
Right. Yeah.
Of course you have damages.
Yeah.
That's different.
And you have standing because you arrived.
Someone in Florida sitting at home scouring websites to then when they find
A
non-compliance to
nitpicking
filing
Nilly.
a lawsuit, no,
Yeah, right.
no.
So hear me out. The monetary damages thing is the part that like irritates me. It would be like, oh, you know what? Thank you for doing your due diligence. Now we'll penalize them until they get it fixed. Thank you. Like if that were the end of it, sure. But if they're recovering monetary like damages from it, like how and why, like you
Well,
said,
first off, and here's the thing: maybe the hotel is in compliance.
right. But the
Maybe
website's not.
just their website is not in compliance.
Yeah, right.
Well, how about if I would think if I had a disability,
Yeah,
first go to the website. And if I
yeah,
don't see anything, and I'm planning on going to Maine because I want to go lobster fishing or I want
yeah.
to do this and do that, you call the hotel and say, "Look, I have a disability. I know
Right.
that your website isn't in
Do you
compliance. It
have
doesn't say you
right?
have A, B, and C. Are you?" And they
Right.
say, "Yeah, yeah, we're sorry. Yes, we are total compliance, and we will fix that website and do that."
No harm, no foul. Come visit. Yeah, yeah,
Because I got news for you. There is probably now let's step aside from the ADA because I don't
yeah,
want I
yeah,
don't want to get
yeah.
bombarded, but there's probably many government rules and regulations for businesses and websites and
Yes.
things of that nature
Yes.
that people aren't in compliance with because they just don't know.
I just think it's the greedy spirit of like, oh, you're not in compliance. Let me sue you, and like you didn't even have anything on the hook, no standing. The real funny thing is that like
But
I
hold
could
on,
see,
because I got to retort because I don't want people. I agree
sure,
with you or I don't agree with you. It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
right,
I
right,
would
right.
say this: there are people who disagree with you because they say that you should be in compliance and ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Agreed. But why would that personal
I
individual
am just telling
hold
you.
on, let me finish. Let me finish. Why should the personal individual profit? I would think that if you were doing this and say whatever damages you were able to get because they weren't in compliance was fully donated to like wheelchairs for veterans or something like that, like I
Fine,
would I
right.
would think like, hey, crusade, man, go hack at it, right? Like,
Well, I get it, but that's just not how it works. Hence
ooh,
why we're
yeah,
talking about it and
yeah,
why I don't disagree that if someone is not harmed, you should not be able to collect monetary damages for it.
yeah.
And
Fully
I'm
agree with
talking about,
accountability.
yeah, yes,
100%. Agree
100%.
with accountability, agree with openness and, like holding people accountable to, yeah,
Yep.
it doesn't say it, here are the rules, you didn't follow the rules, like do it.
And again, I personally can delineate between somebody's website not being in compliance with their hotel or motel not being in compliance.
Right. I think that's
That those are
important.
in
I
my
think that's
opinion,
important.
that's two totally different things. If I
Agreed.
have a disability, whether it's blindness, just
Yes.
a lot of disabilities,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
show up at a hotel and you don't have, you're not in compliant, well, I think you've got a problem.
Yes. I
I
agree.
think I think that's
I
hugely
agree.
problematic, to be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because I'm sitting at home in Florida and I'm scouring, I don't know, millions of hotel websites, and then when I find one that's not in compliance and I sue you, I don't know that I like that or find that to be
It's
uh,
just predatory almost. Like
yeah.
loophole predatory. But anywho.
But either way,
Yeah, no, good conversation.
it's
Like good topic.
happening, and the reason I say it is because people on social media, like, what is the Supreme Court doing? Why are they doing it? And if
Hmm.
that's something that you'd like to look into further, you can go on the internet and look up,
That makes sense.
what is the name of it? The hotel is uh, ACHESON, Acheson Hotel versus Laufer, LAUFER. And you can do your own research, make your own decision. It's out there, and you can say, "Boy, that's I agree with that. This woman
Hmm.
has standing to sue, even though she was never
Yeah.
going to probably 600 of these hotels that she sued. Or no, that's not right. She
Right.
doesn't have
That's a lot
standing,
of travel, dude.
uh, and so there, whatever. But that's up to you, and whether you want
Yeah.
not you, whether you want to or not.
So none of that would constitute frivolous lawsuits
No, it's not
if you have no
frivolous.
standing. Okay.
No,
Like there's nothing. I guess what I'm asking is if they rule that those that because there's no standing, there's
oh,
no
no, no, no.
lawsuit.
Well, let
Would
me
that
tell
make
you.
the other ones frivolous?
Yeah, if let's say the Supreme Court says, well, we've got this far,
Right.
okay, and remember, and Roe versus Wade. By the
Yeah.
time it got to the Supreme Court, it was moot. She
It
already
was
had a
over.
baby,
Yeah, it was over. Yeah.
or she didn't.
Right.
Yeah, and I got to have to look to see, but the case was over before they decided it.
Right. Yes.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay, and so they could just take the easy way out, say it's moot, thank you, have a nice day, because she
Right.
dismissed it.
Yeah.
If the Supreme Court hears it and they decide one way or the other,
Yeah.
then you can either the tester can continue to sue if they decide you do have standing.
Right.
If they decide you do not have standing and the tester cannot sue, if you bring a suit, then the hotel or motel could probably sanction, the attorneys could get sanctioned for fees and
For
costs for bringing
okay.
it. It would then be a frivolous case because you know that the Supreme Court says you as a
Yeah.
tester cannot bring that case.
That wouldn't hit any of the like retroactively open her
No,
up.
no, yeah,
Okay.
no, no,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so where that just and we'll get out of here, but where that
Okay.
happens. So but most of these are death row prisoners in the state of Florida, file all kinds of petitions with the Supreme Court of the state of Florida for any
Okay.
number of reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, usually after a few years and 6, 7, 8, 10 of these petitions that the Supreme Court has held to be without merit or frivolous, they will say, and I think I have one, I might have one right here. They will say something to the effect. Um, let's see, let me read it. Based on this individual's extensive history of filing pro se petitions and requests for relief that were meritless or otherwise inappropriate for this court's review, we now find that he or she has abused this court's limited judicial resources. We therefore instruct the clerk.
You're basically blockaded.
If we don't take any action, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so will continue to burden this court's resources. We further conclude
Interesting.
that the petition is frivolous. We instruct the clerk of the court, the Supreme Court has its own clerk, to reject any future pleadings of Mr.
Wow.
Mr. Prisoner. And it gets worse. And we direct the clerk to forward a copy of this opinion to the Florida Department of Corrections institution or facility in which he is incarcerated to take any action they feel necessary to basically punish him.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
but back to now, this would not be frivolous
Not
unless
yet.
you filed it afterwards. But
Right.
this happens a lot to prisoners
Interesting.
that are incarcerated in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's wild. That's wild.
That's
Well, look,
why
thank
we're
you
here,
for that.
baby.
Thank you for yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's
And I would
really
tell
really
you,
interesting.
they use that language, the same language, a lot.
Gotcha.
Burden the resources, meritless, frivolous, clerk of court, sanctions. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.
Well, it's true. I think a lot of people don't realize that there's
Dude.
the court is not an unlimited like pathway of opportunities
Look,
to sue
first,
someone. Like
I believe the incarcerated, especially death row, have the legal right to access a law library.
yeah, I wasn't meaning just them.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
no,
meaning,
I'm
like,
just saying, and
everybody.
I agree with you. Right.
But you're right.
I imagine that
They
if
get a
you're
lot
on
of time
death
there.
row, you have nothing but
Nothing
time
else to do.
to spend in that law library
Yeah.
trying to look for some reason to get off of death row.
Yeah.
But
And if you
I
weren't
can tell you,
intelligent
reading
going in,
these,
you're
they
probably
do.
intelligent
So at
going
some
out.
point, they get sick of it and say, you're done.
Wow.
Now, I don't know
Jeez.
that you can sanction somebody any further than having them in a little tiny cell on death row.
right.
Maybe
Like, what
they
else
take
can you
away,
take away
maybe
from
they
them?
take away your TV. I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
All right, well, that's all I have.
We're gonna move you to the cell block with Henry. You know.
that's Yeah, that's all I have for you. So
All right, fair enough.
we will try to follow up with some of the cases we talk about, which is this the hotel case, to find out how they
Mm-hmm.
ruled. Other than that,
Are
stay
we
tuned.
calling
Stay,
Leanne
Leanne,
today?
no. So
Okay.
Jackie went to New York
Nice.
for a little
Okay.
vacation, and you hear that squawking was Leanne's. Evidently they're at a an eatery, I'll call it that, and it says we're sitting at the exact table you and I sat out when I went up there in June.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, so that's cool. So no, we'll leave her
Nice.
alone.
All
Uh,
right, fair enough.
yeah,
Fair
we'll leave her
enough.
alone this weekend. She
All
can
right,
take
good
a
enough.
pass.
You got any
And
weekend
then
plans then? Anything exciting?
nah,
No. Weather's nice
I'll
though.
be I'll be preparing for this trial. That's just how it
Yes.
works. I
Yeah, I bet.
I
Yeah.
that's simple as that. I'll be preparing for the trial.
Well, the weather's nice. You can sit out on that porch and go through your notes.
Well, I'll be here Saturday for sure. The
Ooh,
thing is, I've been living with this thing for since 2019,
you're ready.
and you'll see why come Friday.
Yeah.
I could try this case, give you my opening statement and my closing statement and everything right now,
So on
but
Friday,
I still
where are you
can't.
going to be? What time?
Friday?
Yeah.
Well, the trial's only 2 or 3 days, so we'll be right here discussing the road rage case,
Okay. Okay.
uh, and
All right.
uh, and you just like I said, this one would be one to tune in live. But even if you don't, I would tune in later to listen about this one.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to believe it.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Well, when
take
we
us
get
out.
off, we'll talk about it. Maybe we could do some other video in other places, just to if it fits. I don't know.
Oh,
But
well, here
anyway,
I'll send you the video of the incident we're going to talk about, and
there's
you can play
video.
it. Yeah, yeah, video,
Jeez. Oh my
video.
word. Okay.
All
Fair
right,
enough.
okay, I'll send you the
All right.
videos.
I'll take us out
All
with
right,
that. You guys have a great Friday.
great
Uh
Friday, great weekend.
absolutely. Yeah. And
Read and read. It's like having a lawyer in the family.
there we go.